Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I will get straight to the point, and that is the Pink Floyd lead singer Roger Waters had a little speech at the UN, and I'm glad that he speak up and speak out, whatever it is. He had his word out in front of some people and the entire world. What he said, I'm going to cover in this article that I have from Al Mayadeen. Al Mayadeen is an Arab independent media outlet, and this article comes from today, the 8th of February 2023. This is the title: Ukraine war, and I'm quoting, illegal, but not, I'm quoting, unprovoked. Pink Floyd lead singer said. Excuse me. Roger Waters had reportedly attended the meeting upon the Russian mission in the United Nations invitation. The purpose of it was to address the prospects of a peace settlement in Ukraine. So he was invited by the Russian mission to the United Nations to speak. And you can call him however you want to call him. The point is, he agreed and he spoke up. The lead singer of the British band Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, said on Wednesday at the UN Security Council meeting that Russia's special military operation in Ukraine was, and I'm quoting, illegal, but not, and I'm quoting, unprovoked, end quote. Waters had reportedly attended the meeting upon the Russian mission to the United Nations invitation. The purpose of it was to address the prospects of a peace settlement in Ukraine. The invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation, and I'm quoting, okay, I'm starting to quote. The invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation was illegal. I condemn it in the strongest possible terms. Also, the Russian invasion of Ukraine was not unprovoked. So I also condemn the provocateurs in the strongest possible terms, end quote, Waters said. In a bold move, Waters asked the 5 permanent members of the Security Council if their purpose in engaging all their support for Kiev in the conflict was to generate war-related profits, safeguard global power, and acquire a bigger share of the world's cake, end quote. And I'm quoting, another biggest share of the cake means less for everyone else, end quote. He said, adding that the wars are not something that is generally approved by the majority of citizens around the world. Waters further added that wars contribute to large-scale destruction of the environment and that people reject them because they do not raise their sons and daughters to become cannon fodder. The Pink Floyd lead singer called for an urgent peace settlement and considered that such an approach would be the only sensible thing to do, noting that Ukrainian and Russian lives are too valuable to be wasted. And I'm quoting, enough is enough, end quote, Waters said, while calling on all relevant members, including the US, EU, NATO, and Russia, to take a different course of action in Ukraine. So this is what he had to say. He's not a trained politician. He's not I'm assuming, a PhD in political science or international relations. But nevertheless, he came over there and he said whatever he understood out of the situation in Ukraine. And not only, it seems like he has, in my assessment, a certain kind of grasp on global matters, which is who's who, what's what. You may say, well, he's just a singer. Well, so am I, just a guy speaking with you here. I don't know how much he read. I don't know how much he understands. I don't know what contacts he has and he had. I don't know what experience he had. The problem is he speaks up his mind. He's a well-known musician, and from from what I could figure out, for instance, in his statements, he made some previous statements before calling the U.S. the most evil empire in the world and all that. I can tell you that he's not an idiot. That means, on the contrary, I think he's intelligent, and I think he paid attention to political events. Not because he doesn't accept the narrative that is pushed on us. That's not the reason why I'm bringing him up here. Is just the fact that these people like him have the courage to come in front of, indeed, sponsors pushed, invited by the Russians. Why? Because obviously he said two things. One, the war is illegal. The other one is not unprovoked, according to Mr. Waters. But that's his opinion, and he should not be punished for his assessment. Good, bad, incomplete, and I don't know. You know what I mean. The fact is that he was allowed to speak his mind, and that's it. I would remind you that during the campaign here, the political campaign, when people run here for presidential office or something like that, they invite all kind of artists, they're called nowadays, and or musicians. When I'm thinking of artists and musicians, I'm thinking about, I don't know, like Mozart or Beethoven or Wagner or Haydn or something like that. For me, that's some kind of or Paganini, or someone that is a virtuoso, someone that composed things. When I'm thinking about this, 50 Cent, or I don't know, Brianna, or I don't know. It's just, but that's a different subject. The thing is, I heard other artists, musicians, supporting a certain candidate, and they are dumb as a rock. But nevertheless, they're pushed forward, or they just want to talk, and that's fine. But they make fools of themselves. I don't think this guy makes a fool of himself at all. And I wish that people with something to really say, that means they are a certain kind of understanding, to speak up and get involved. Now, should we listen to this guy? No, like we shouldn't listen to any politician or a professor, university professor. Why? Because we live under the impression that if someone read 40 books and wrote a dissertation and has a PhD, all of a sudden is smarter than everybody else. Not really. He works together with a group of people to build that dissertation and to expose it and so on. So I'm not very impressed by that, to be honest. It's good. It's hard work. It requires a certain kind of understanding and so on. But I met too many PhDs in my life to require first a conversation with that person before I give an assessment. You can't just come out and say, well, I have this, I have that. I mean, exposing your credentials minimizes your qualities, actually. I mean, they help sometimes, but as I said, I don't think that this guy, if he's logical or if he has an understanding of certain things, should be less listened than, let's say, Anthony Blinken, who I think he was a university professor somewhere or something, but he's not that good at all. So yeah, on one hand, there is the chief diplomat of the United States of America, Anthony Blinken, and I would give that guy a 3 out of 10. I would give Jai Shankar a 9, because I don't want to say he's 10. I don't give perfect notes or grades. The same, I would give Lavrov a 9. I would give Baerbock a 2 or 3. Liz Truss 1 or 2. And these are the diplomats. I would give Hungary's Peter Szijjártó, I would give again an 8 or 9. This is according to my observation on, and you know, we can look left and right. I would give the former Chinese foreign minister Wang Yi, I will give him again an 8 or a 9. I don't know, these enemies and bad dudes get somehow, I don't know, I would like them to be in my team and give them the Blinkens, the Baerbocks, the Liz Truss, and all these mediocrities at best. Interesting. Good job, Mr. Waters, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.